Hey traders, my morning video, I hadn't planned on doing one, but just want to give you a quick rundown here. I'm going to try to keep around 5 minutes here. And basically, I think they're going to buy the dip going into the open today on the U.S. equities. I mean, Europe didn't even try to play catch up in the overnight session, and so or in this morning session. In fact, they're selling off 1.5% across the board in Europe over this Corona fears. And despite that, we are holding out pretty well on the U.S. equities here. And there are very low volumes supporting this sell-off into the markets. So I think they're going to try to trade around the 200-day moving average and this volume point of control, the 3085 area on the ES futures. So just keep that in mind going forward here. I think we're going to try to hold in this zone, trading zone for today, and not push further down, barring further headlines. Okay. Okay. There we go. Similar situation. The 8750 area is typically a little bit on the bearish side, but I'm just not seeing volumes pushing to the downside. Basically, we had the S&P futures were what pushed us higher yesterday, and I think the S&P futures are what pushing the markets lower this morning. And I think they have weak hands going forward here in today's session. So keep that on watch going forward into today's session. And if you look at your Russell, they're having talks in Vienna about cutting oil production by 1 million barrels a day. This is a big wild card coming out later on in today's session. If OPEC comes out and they, here in a few hours, and say that they have agreed on like a $1.5 billion production cut on principle, this is going to have a very strong impact on potentially on oil. This situation going on. So this is a catalyst potentially for higher prices in the market. And I think that's kind of why we're not seeing a lot of selling volume early on this morning, because they're afraid to get load up to the short side, knowing OPEC is in the midst of their meeting right as we speak. So keep that in mind going forward here. That as a major catalyst potential in today's session. I will be, in that case, I will be on the open looking to maybe get some swing positioning in Pioneer Natural Resources or Occidental Petroleum in that scenario a week or two out if they do have a major production cut. So that's just something to keep in mind going forward to in today's session. Okay. Okay, on my screeners, top action this morning. Look at these volumes, very anemic. I know it's about 6 o'clock in the morning, but this is really bad volumes, and I think they're doing a wait and see on OPEC. I really do, and that's why we do not have too much action hitting the market tape this morning. Pretty much down across the board. Apple really taking it on the chin here, and this just gives you an idea of some of the leaders right here. I do have NVIDIA puts, and it is one of the biggest decliners for the session. We're down almost $8 a share as we speak on NVIDIA. So I'm really happy if we were to open up down here. So, but like I said, that news, I think it's going to hit before the markets even open. And there is likely to be a, in principle, cut of over 1 million barrels a day. And in that case, we will probably see a responsive buy into the markets on the open. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on these markets going forward here. Okay. Then we also have on the S&P 500, on that scan, we've got, let's see here, Apple, AMD, Gilead, GM. So basically, like I said, really anemic volumes. Bank of America was pulled. The banks were all pulled up with the rest of the market yesterday. This is a very dangerous sector, in my opinion. The banks with the bonds maintaining a sustained bid. The bonds maintaining a sustained bid of any area in the market that has a lot of potential downside risk, and that is the banking sector. So, just keep that in mind going forward here. as far as risk goes to the downside in these markets. So let's keep that one on your watch. And but like I said, we had correlation yesterday in the markets, and it brought everything up. And the sectors that probably shouldn't have been brought up, and that was your banking sector. So keep that in mind going forward here. On my pre-market scanner with default with Thinkorswim, you have Intel and Apple being leaders in this market. Zoom Video is catching a real nice sell-off this morning, profit taking off the earnings announcement. So American Eagle came out and they actually really beat on their earnings, and I actually would have been a net short on that one if I had traded it. Okay, and then if we have look at our NYSE Amex APT, they make the face mask. They are catching a nice bid this morning on some positive comments and talk by analysts. So it's getting a really nice uptick in the morning session. So just keep this one on watch. And IBO Incorporated, that is another company with creating a cure for the coronavirus. So keep that one on your watch as well on that. And then if you go and look at the okay, let me get this to load here. If I can get this, find this here real quick. 24-hour trading. There we go. Scan. And then on our top ETFs, and that's how you go with your 24-hour trading. The best way to get that. Still really anemic volume so far this morning. I really think it's a wait and see on the whole crude thing. We have strong volume so far on the crude, but we're just waiting to see what the OPEC says. Maybe that is a catalyst, and they really need to cut that production output to drive the markets. If they fail to have, less than $1 billion cut, it's probably going to drive futures lower on the open. So just keep that in mind. That they're doing that wait and see this morning. And if you look at your futures, one last thing I'm going to look at here. As far as volume goes on the futures, like always, the 10-year is catching a bid this morning at record highs. Up here in the record high range on the bonds, and just not giving it up at all. That's why I think it is so risky to be long the financials. With the bonds continuing to sustain extremely high bids here, so it just takes a breath of bad news, like downgrade or something like that in that space, and we have all kinds of problems. Okay, to finish my video real quick, we have a really nice upgrade on J&J. I think it's like 196 or something like that. So keep that on watch going forward in today's session. Coronavirus player. Abbott, another coronavirus player, another nice real upgrade. Plenty of upside potential on Abbott. And then we have Baxter International, the final coronavirus play. It's catching a nice bid this morning also. So keep that in mind. All three of those have upgrades with substantial price target increases, all on these coronavirus fears going forward here. So you want to be in the right sector of the markets as on all these rallies, the right area to be in, and those are the three stocks you really want to buy and hold for a while, in my opinion, going forward in this market. Okay, that's it on my thing. Like the video if you like it. Make comments below. See, it's almost 6 o'clock here. I've been waiting for Costco to report. I don't think they're out quite yet. Nope, they haven't reported. I'm going to freeze the video for about another minute here, and we'll see if they come out on the hour at 6 o'clock. Okay, one last comment. I'm hearing chatter that the Pope might actually have the virus. So this is unconfirmed chatter. So just something to keep in the back of your mind going into today's session. If it does come out that he actually does have it, this is going to rattle the markets, and I would think it would be a major negative force for the markets. So just keep that going forward here, a potential scenario in our trading, if that's the case. So that could be completely false rumor, of course, but it's something to keep in mind. Okay, like the video, and like I said, leave comments. Especially if you hear anything about the Pope and stuff. I mean, that's kind of upsetting because I am Catholic. So thanks a lot.